Alrighty. Uh, Hello and good evening. It is just me. You're watching video 669. It is uh, June 14th, 2020. Sipping on the last of a Heine Brothers cup of coffee. Not sponsored by Heine Brothers, but Heine Brothers, if you're watching, I am a Heine ho. Wanted to just make a couple of statements, or comments rather. It's been a very busy 48 hours. If you're not in the know, or if this is ancient history to you, um, our current sitting president's lackeys and the administration finally got through a bit of legislation that it wanted to in cooperation with its friends at Congress that basically said that it's okay to discriminate for transgender folk if you're a physician or a doctor or a hospital or whomever your organization and you don't want to treat a transgender person for religious reasons, uh, whatever reason you want, it doesn't matter. You have a blank slate. You can say no. It also enables healthcare companies to deny coverage for any item they want. Wasn't specific. It didn't say transgender items, which for a trans woman might mean facial feminization or gender reassignment surgery or hormones or trach shaves, orchiectomies, anything like that. I'm sorry, I'm not up on my trans man lingo. I'm going to say top surgery for trans men, testosterone, hormone replacement therapy, anything. Basically, an insurance company, a hospital, a doctor's office, a clinic, a physician, anyone can basically say no. They don't have to provide healthcare coverage and they don't have to pay for it. Healthcare companies don't have to pay for it. Basically, this was a legacy of Section 1557 or 1558 of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. And President Trump has really tried to make it a cornerstone of his administration that he undid Obamacare. It's broken. It's not fixed. He's not. I mean, this thing won't die. The Affordable Care Act, but he was able to dismantle part of it, which in this case deals with transgender folks. And so, basically, this is two things. It's legalized discrimination, and in my opinion, it's abuse of trans folk for a trans person to be on a hormone replacement therapy regimen and suddenly out of the blue it's no longer covered. They don't have access to care. I've been off hormones for 6 months and I can tell you it's been hell. It's been hell. Because I've had bottom surgery. My body, the bits of my body that made the primary source of the majority of testosterone was taken out. But certainly my body doesn't have a primary maker of estrogen either. And so, kind of what hormone replacement therapy had done for me, uh, without having that constant stimulation to my DNA saying, okay, run this blueprint, run this blueprint, run this blueprint, my breasts have basically all but disappeared. Hair has come back on my arms. Again, the body, my body at one transit middle age, my body had 45 years of programming to do male stuff, and then hormones kind of said, oh nope, run these blueprints instead, and so started to do female stuff, and so now it's like not getting any direction whatever, and so again, I have 40 some odd years of blueprints this way. The body's just doing what it's been programmed to do. And so, my hormones, like I said, I've been off hormones and whatnot. If anything, I feel like I've slipped into sort of an androgynous person, which we'll get to later. But, you know, like I said, it blows my mind that, it blows my mind that why would somebody do that? You know, why would somebody even, I really feel like if you believe that not everyone should have access to health care, um, you know, you're a fucking prick. I mean, there's my opinion, for what it's worth, probably nothing. But again, if you don't believe people should have affordable health care or health care, I mean, good riddance to you. Don't need you. Don't want you in my life. Um, in my opinion. So it's been kind of a bumpy road. I've not gotten my insurance cards yet. I've been working for my company for almost 4 weeks. I've gotten my first paycheck. They had deducted the medical insurance deductible and my first health savings plan money out. I just haven't gotten my little card yet that says I have a health plan. But as soon as I do, I'm going to the pharmacy to get my meds, and I can't take hormones for a year because of my blood clots. And so again, it's just this whole healthcare thing is just blowing my mind. You know, I could go to Walgreens Monday morning. I could go to Walgreens tomorrow and show them my card, and they could say no, you're not covered. They don't have to cover me. They can refuse me. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. Uh, with the exception of writing my congressman, writing my governor, writing the fairness campaign, the ALCU. There's those things that can be done, and I imagine those things are already in the works because this is just unprecedented. And I had somebody today kind of tell me that my fears were unwarranted and I had nothing to worry about. And, you know, I had nothing to worry about because black people have more stuff to worry about right now. And it just like came out of nowhere. And I was like, um, why, why do we have to do ors in this country? Why do you have to be one thing or another? At no point did I say I'm against Black Lives Matter. At no point, and even in my post on my Facebook page, I said I realized that there's a priority in this. There's a priority of things we need to be paying attention for, and Black Lives Matter has that attention. I don't want to take away from that, but there's no reason why we can't be supportive of Black Lives Matter and also ask the question, do trans lives matter? You know, why can't we do both? Raise the roof. Why can't we do both? You know, why can't we protest the killing of George Floyd and Black Lives? Why can't we support the protesting of Black Lives Matter and be there, and also ask the question of the government, why did you do what you did? Is it legal to do? I mean, it's legal. It's law now. But again, um, just doesn't make any sense to me. And that was kind of my thing with the statement that was made to me. It was like somehow I was stealing away from the Black Lives Matter movement, and I wasn't. I'm not. I'll say it here again. The Black Lives Matter is like priority one. Priority one in my world right now. I've never been beaten because I'm transgender, although there are trans women regularly who get killed every black trans women specifically who get killed every year simply because they're black trans women. I've never been beaten up. I've never been profiled. I've never been arrested simply because I was transgender. So no, the Black Lives. I'm I'm for you. I'm with you. I'm willing to take a back seat to that. But at some point we gotta have a reckoning here. And my suggestion is to for all of us to join forces. Black lives matter, trans lives matter, immigrants, all the people that for some reason the Trump administration has profiled blacks, Latinos, immigrants. There's quite a list of people he's ticked off and tried to make their lives miserable. We all need to come together and combine our resources. I think that's how you overthrow a tyrant. You come together and combine. Maybe we focus all our attention on Black Lives Matter now, and I'm not sure what progress will be made because it's an ever-changing system, but after we make some progress, maybe it's time to focus on immigration. Maybe it's time to focus on trans. Why can't we come together and lift all boats together? Why can't we support each other? I don't know. I don't know. And maybe that person wasn't she wasn't maybe she wasn't getting what I was saying. Maybe she was having a bad day. I don't know. I don't know. But you know, I my channel is one trans at middle age, and this is something that happened on Friday that affects me. Affects a lot of transgender people. The last count that I saw was something like 1.5 million people. There's 1.5. I mean, that was I think 2016 data, but polling data. But we're not alone by any means. 1.6 million people. If all 1.6 million people got together and protested or organized or wrote a letter to the editor, again, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to tell you. But Friday and yesterday, I was mad. I got angry, like in the movie Network. You just got to get angry. Say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. And then once that anger passes, then you think about, okay, well, what can I do? How can I make these changes? So, that's kind of the focus of this video, I guess, is I just want to milestone it and say, it happened. And the express for me, again, is I want to get back on hormones one day. I don't think the government should be able to say, no, you can't do this. I want to have top surgery, which, I want to have breast enhancement someday, if the money allows, and so for me, it's all secondary. It's I'm not really overly concerned about myself right now, although I obviously, as my own gatekeeper, my own caregiver, I'm concerned about myself. What I'm really concerned about are younger trans women, and I don't necessarily mean that in age. I mean that in stage. A trans woman who's coming to terms with who they are, a trans woman who's thinking about, am I transgender, and what does that mean, and what am I going to do about it, and I'm having thoughts. I want to talk to a therapist. Someone who is right at the start of really tackling their trans emotions. That's the person I'm concerned about right now, because this is another obstacle to them becoming their authentic self and exploring what that means for themselves. We certainly at trans folk, at the onset of our transition and many years before that, we have so many obstacles we have to get through. And, it really boggles my mind that there's a group of people out there who, I'm not going to say they get their jollies off of it, but they if they don't enjoy it, they at least are determined to just totally pull the floor out, the rug from under us, just because we're different, And I guess that's probably the tail end of this video. So we kind of talked about what happened. We talked about how it impacts me. We talked about a little bit how it might impact a younger trans person in stage, or an older. Again, if, like I said, I can't imagine, just being told, sorry, you can't have estrogen anymore. You can't have the injection, you can't have a pill, and you can't have a patch. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. I mean, mentally, the backlash on that, and I guess that maybe I'm not ready to move on to the next topic yet, but again, the amount of stress and frustration for a group of people that for the good chunk of our lives before we transition, that's all we know is chaos and stress and guilt, and we're questioning who and what we are. I mean, why would you put in why would you do that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think about the people who worked to get this thing to pass and the people in the Trump administration and in Congress, sitting around a table and signing this thing into law and talking about completing good work and making a change and making a difference. And I just have to sit there and go, what in the hell? This is not a victory. This is not something you celebrate unless, again, you're part of the Trump administration. You're like, we dismantled part of Obamacare. I guess you could celebrate that. But let's move on. Boy, I wish I wrote these things down. We talked about that. We talked about that. Well, you're in luck. I've forgotten. I've totally forgotten what I was going to talk about. So I guess we'll end the video. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I don't think this is over yet. And if I could put on my legal beagle cap, I know for myself and my company, uh, health plans don't change too much too quick. And I'm a new employee, so the way things I'm coming in on were the way they were the year previous, or if you're the way previous. And so for the rest of this healthcare year, it's going to use this old plan. And I have a suspicion that if President Trump doesn't get reelected, they probably won't make too many changes because there's no reason to, you know what I mean? It's like it could flip-flap back just the other way. If President Trump does get elected to a second term and he keeps Mike Pence, then I think we're looking at a legal fight. We're looking, like I said, the ALCU fairness campaign. These things are gonna make a stink about it, and it's very hard to undo something that's already been given. If I'm already taking hormones and my body's getting used to it and da 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 da, I mean, it's like taking away somebody's blood pressure medicine and not allowing them to get another blood pressure medicine. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Again, I don't think it's as bad. I think we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna end the video here, and then I will make another video real quick, which is gonna deal with successful transition and identity, which I think is probably where I'm at in my stage now. We'll get there. Okay, so let's end this one. Bye.